Will the herbs save him before the storm breaks?
Please, you must save him.
Please, tell me the truth. What is happening to my husband?
The truth is not easy to hear. This sickness did not come from nature.
What do you mean?
His condition is worsening. Some pains enter the body through food, some through trust.
Are you saying someone did this to him?
Long ago, your husband drank from a cup meant to destroy him slowly.
No, impossible.
The dangerous enemy is not always the man who hates you openly. Sometimes it is the one who sits closest to your table.
But Michael trusts everyone around him.
No, not everyone. In the next 5 minutes, he will die.
No! Michael!
Heavy coughing.
Please hold on.
Helped you rise.
No!
In the quiet, sunlit city of Oakhaven, every street carried a story. Traders from distant lands arrived daily in search of the famed golden treasures, rare artifacts that had transformed the city into a thriving center of wealth and culture. Beneath rows of colorful awnings, merchants displayed handcrafted goods while the aroma of roasted nuts drifted through crowded marketplaces alive with laughter and negotiation. Oakhaven moved with the rhythm of prosperity, and above all names spoken within its walls, one commanded the deepest respect: Chief Michael. To the people, Chief Michael was more than a wealthy man or political figure. He was the beating heart of the city itself. Generous to a fault, he possessed the rare ability to make people feel seen, valued, and protected. His kindness was legendary. Widows spoke of school fees mysteriously paid overnight. Struggling traders found unexpected financial support, and entire neighborhoods flourished because of his quiet interventions. Standing beside him through every triumph and setback was Charles, his closest friend, confidant, and business partner. Their bond had survived years of hardship, failed ventures, and financial storms that would have destroyed ordinary friendships. They trusted each other completely, shared investments without hesitation, and built their empire side by side. In Oakhaven, many believed their friendship was unbreakable. But power has a way of exposing cracks hidden beneath loyalty. The first fracture appeared when politics entered their lives. Charles was nominated to contest for the position of state councilor, a move celebrated by political allies and businessmen alike. Certain that their partnership would naturally continue in government, he publicly announced Chief Michael as his deputy candidate. To Charles, it felt like the perfect arrangement, two brothers ascending together. The city disagreed. The announcement ignited an uproar unlike anything Oakhaven had witnessed in decades. Crowds flooded the streets in protest, demanding something entirely different. They did not want Michael standing behind another man. They wanted him at the front. Within days, businesses shut down as demonstrations spread across the city. Markets that once overflowed with life became battlegrounds of anger and chanting. Hoodlums exploited the chaos, vandalizing government buildings and setting vehicles ablaze, while citizens shouted one message over and over: Michael must lead. By the time the unrest settled, the political landscape had changed completely. Chief Michael emerged not as a deputy, but as chancellor. From that moment forward, his influence expanded rapidly. Wealth multiplied. Powerful men sought his approval. Foreign investors courted him. His name opened doors across the country, and eventually, his rise carried him all the way to the governor's seat. Charles smiled beside him through every celebration. But beneath the smiles, something poisonous had begun to grow. At first, it was only disappointment, then humiliation, then resentment so deep it hollowed him from within. Everywhere he turned, people spoke of Michael's greatness, Michael's leadership, Michael's generosity. The man he had once rescued from ruin had become greater than him in every possible way. And Charles could not bear it. Hoping to repair the widening distance between them, Charles invited Michael to his home one humid evening. Expensive brandy lined the table between them as they laughed over old memories and spoke about the struggles that had once bound them together. To anyone watching, it looked like reconciliation. The warmth between them seemed genuine. But some wounds smile before they bleed. Behind closed doors, Charles's wife, Kemi, fed the darkness growing inside her husband. She was fiercely ambitious, deeply proud, and consumed by bitterness over the status she believed belonged to her. "Look at them," she would whisper at night. "They rise while we fade into the background. I should be the most respected woman in this city, not her." Her resentment toward Michael's wife, Love, became obsessive. "Do something, Charles," she snapped one evening, "or admit you're nothing more than his shadow." Those words dug themselves deep into his mind. As Michael's political influence expanded and his wife became First Lady, Kemi's fury intensified. She mocked Charles relentlessly, accusing him of being weak, foolish, and responsible for creating the very man who now overshadowed them both. And slowly, resentment evolved into intention. In the privacy of his thoughts, Charles often drifted back to the years when Michael had nothing. Years earlier, Michael's life had collapsed in spectacular fashion. His first wife, a beautiful but manipulative woman also named Love, had betrayed him with chilling precision. Under the disguise of divorce proceedings, she tricked him into signing documents that secretly transferred ownership of his assets, properties, and company shares. Michael discovered the truth too late. One evening, he returned home to the sound of walls crashing down. Workers were demolishing his mansion. Confused and furious, he demanded answers. This property was sold 2 weeks ago. One of the engineers informed him coldly. By then, his wife had vanished. His accounts were empty, his investments gone, his reputation shattered. And in that darkest chapter of his life, Charles had been the one who extended a hand. Charles funded his comeback, rebuilt his confidence, and stood beside him while he rose from nothing. That memory haunted him constantly, because now the man he once rescued wore the crown. No disease, no infection,
No explanation.
as desperation replaced logic, Michael sought help from clerics, spiritualists, and traditional healers. Charles remained constantly at his side. He recommended specialists, arranged consultations, suggested renowned healers from distant regions. Eventually, he personally introduced Michael to a respected ableist. After that visit, Michael's condition worsened dramatically. Months became years. The once vibrant leader who had energized an entire city became confined to a bed, reduced to a frail shadow of himself. For 6 painful years, he existed between suffering and silence while his wife, Love, cared for him with unwavering devotion. Never once did she suspect the man helping push Michael's wheelchair through hospital corridors was the architect of his destruction. Then, one quiet afternoon, a family friend recommended an ancient healer living on the outskirts of Oakhaven. Unlike the others, the old man needed only a single glance at Michael to understand. His expression darkened immediately. "This was never an illness," he said quietly. Love froze. The old healer stepped closer, his voice heavy with certainty. 15 years ago, your husband drank from a poison cup. The charm placed inside it was designed to sleep for years before awakening slowly. The one responsible was not a stranger. He paused. It was someone he trusted completely. Someone who shared meals with him. Someone who drank from the same table. Silence swallowed the room. The healer looked toward the clock hanging on the wall. "In 5 minutes," he said softly, "he will die. There is no cure left in this world." Love's body trembled violently as she knelt beside her husband. Chief Michael struggled for breath, his chest rising weakly. Then, with the last strength remaining inside him, he whispered a single name: Charles. The room fell still. Tears flooded Love's eyes, but before she could react, the old healer gripped her wrist firmly. "Say nothing," he warned. "Do not confront him. Silence is the only thing protecting you now." Minutes later, the great Chief Michael was gone. Oakhaven mourned him like a fallen king. Streets overflowed with grieving citizens dressed in black, and tributes poured in from across the nation. During the funeral, Charles wept louder than anyone else, collapsing dramatically beside the coffin while the city praised his loyalty. Only Love knew the truth. She moved through the ceremony like a ghost, staring at the man responsible for destroying her husband while saying absolutely nothing. But justice has strange ways of arriving. Several years later, during a stormy evening on the highway outside Oakhaven, Charles's car collided with a speeding trailer after the driver lost control. The impact was catastrophic. Metal twisted like paper. Flames consumed the wreckage. By the time authorities arrived, the destruction was so severe that identification became nearly impossible. In the end, they recognized him only through fragments of clothing recovered from the wreck. And so, the secret buried between two friends disappeared beneath the red earth of Oakhaven forever. The city endured, the golden treasures remained, and life, as it always does, moved on.